All right, time for our Spotlight segment tonight. The riot in Little India on December 8 was the first in more than 40 years. It was sparked by the death of Indian national Sakthivel Kumaravelu. The riot involved some 400 foreign nationals, leaving 39 officers injured and 25 vehicles damaged or destroyed. In response, Little India was made a proclaimed area under the Public Order Act the weekend after. 35 rioters have been arrested and charged, and 57 of them repatriated 2 weeks on from the night of December 8. Vomita Mohandas recaps events that unfolded that night and the reactions that followed.
From where I'm standing right now, I can see the junction of Hampshire Road and Racecourse Road, where the fatal accident involving 33-year-old Sakthivel Kumaravelu happened. What happened next was, of course, the riot, which involved about 400 people.
The time was 9:23 on a Sunday evening. The events that led to Sakthivel's death are still under investigation, but it was then that police were first informed of a serious accident involving a bus. Within 2 minutes, the Singapore Civil Defence Force is alerted, and by 9:37, the first ambulance and police response car arrive. What greets them is a crowd of about 100. In the next 3 minutes, a fire engine and even more policemen arrive on site. But a turning point is reached at this stage. By 9:45, the crowd swells to 400, and things start to get unruly. The decision is made to activate the Special Operations Command, or SOC. At the same time, attention is still on Sakthivel, as some 8 SCDF officers try to extricate his body from under the bus. Things take an aggressive turn as rioters began throwing items such as beer bottles, concrete blocks and drain covers at first responders. Some 10 policemen provide a human shield to ensure that responders can continue extricating Sakthivel's body. By 10:11, police are also able to move the bus driver and his assistant away from the area.
About 45 minutes after the Special Operations Command was activated, the first SOC troop arrived at this junction at about 10:30 p.m. But because of the delay in the congestion, they proceeded to the incident site on foot. Soon after, the second SOC troop arrived and they formed a straight line to disperse the mob. Soon after, the police began making arrests.
By 10:37, some 53 patrol cars have been called in from the various police units island-wide to deal with the incident. And in less than an hour after that, the situation is largely under control. At 11:45, the riot has been dispersed. It is 2 in the morning when Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean speaks on the riot. He has just visited the riot site before that.
I want to make very clear that the government will not tolerate such lawless behavior. I've asked the police to investigate the matter thoroughly and deal with all aspects of this incident and all persons involved strictly, firmly and fairly according to our laws. And I ask members of the public to stay calm, not to react to any speculation, and let the facts be established.
By around 6 a.m. that morning, things in Little India are returning to normal. But the government response is just beginning. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong directs the Home Affairs Ministry to convene a committee of inquiry. It is given 6 months to do its job. The first charges are made by December 10. Cooling off measures are announced on December 12 to stabilize the situation in Little India. And the Little India cluster is declared a proclaimed area under the Public Order Preservation Act. The sale and consumption of alcohol is suspended for the weekend of December 14 and 15. And bus services ferrying workers to and from their dorms to Little India are also suspended. But reassurances also come from the government that they will take a firm but fair approach.
We have 1 million plus foreign workers in Singapore. About 400 were involved in this riot. There was a specific circumstance. It was a localized riot. It would be quite unfair for Singaporeans to look at them all and say, you know, they are a problem. We cannot accept them. I think that's not correct. I think that's not wise.
35 rioters are ultimately arrested and charged, 57 repatriated. After the initial measures for the weekend, come calibrated measures in Little India, continuing the ban on alcohol consumption in public areas, while loosening its sale in restaurants. Together with the shortening of alcohol sale hours in liquor shops and convenience stores, these measures will continue for up to 6 months until the COI makes its recommendations.
Many residents say that drunken, unruly behavior by some foreign workers has been a perennial problem in this area. And so short-term measures like the ban on the sale and consumption of alcohol may work in Little India. But beyond that, the real challenge is to balance the interests of the various stakeholders, like your businesses, residents and foreign workers, in a sustainable way. Until then, the next landmark for Singapore will be the conclusions and recommendations of the COI, expected in the next 6 months, and the changes that will follow.